and if not, I'm really, really sorry. Okay, so carrying on from our theory of cooking with food waste, I was looking through the cupboard today and thinking, what am I going to cook for you? And I thought actually I found a funny old leek. Look, so this needs eating up. It started to sprout, but it would be fine. I'm just going to cut the ends off, so I can just do that right now actually, and just and this is going to be absolutely fine. So rather than just throwing it in the bin or putting it in the compost, there's absolutely nothing the matter with it. So it might look a bit manky, but really if you just take the outer layers off, look, it looks absolutely fine. And if you wanted to, you could cut it. It won't need washing, but you could wash it. It's absolutely fine. So just again, if you want to take that outer layer off, I could give that a quick wash, but it's going to be absolutely fine. And then we can just cut this up. So this is, we're just going to cut. So we're actually making today, we're actually making a tofu and aubergine curry. So again, I found some tofu in the fridge. I didn't actually know. I thought it had a longer sell-by date, so that needed to be eaten up. And also some aubergine. I prepared the other day, but didn't actually get around to cooking. So that was all weighted in the fridge, ready to be used. So that's in the oven at the moment. So you don't have to roast your aubergine, but I thought actually roasted aubergine gives a really nice flavour. So it's roasting at the moment. And what I did earlier when I prepared it, I put some salt on it and literally let all the juices from the aubergine sometimes can be a bit acidic. So I let all those drain out, and then I give it a really good rinse, and then it's roasting at the moment. So my lentils that I've got, I'm just going to, not my lentils, sorry, what am I saying? My leeks I've got, I do apologise. Then I've got a courgette, okay, so I'm going to add that as well because I can't resist adding veggies to anything. So again, if you want to add veggies to yours, and you can. If you prefer not to, that's absolutely fine too. It's all up to individual preference. Okay, so I'm just going to cut these really, really small. You could grate them if you're cooking for children and children don't particularly like vegetables. You grate them. The courgettes are great for disappearing. You wouldn't even know they're in there, which is absolutely brilliant. And carrots, they disappear too as well when you cook them. Okay, so again, let's just cut these up small. Okay. Right. Okay, and then if you wanted to, of course you could, if you wanted them all smaller, you could use your knife and you could just cut them up even smaller, okay, which is another way to do it. Okay, and that just makes life a little bit quicker for you. And then you cut them up. They're small. Okay. So there's our veggies. Okay, it's a bit green actually, isn't it? But never mind. Right. Okay. So I grab over my cooker. I don't know what you can see. Let me put it towards you. Okay. So if I turn that on. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. Okay. And then I'm just going to add my vegetables with a spoon. Okay, so just add in there, I'm going to add my veggies. Okay. Right. So when you're making a curry, it's totally up to you what you feel that you want to add, and you could just add curry powder. There's nothing wrong with adding just curry powder. If, however, you want to maybe give it a bit more something, you can add all different types of herbs and spices, and different ones will bring out different flavours, all depending on what you've got in the cupboard and what you find easy and what you enjoy to cook with. So I've just grabbed a few things that I've got. I really like coriander, I think that's brilliant. I really like cumin, so I'm going to add a bit of those. I have got dried curry leaves. Someone did tell me actually fresh ones are better, but I need to buy those. I think I need to go online somewhere to buy some fresh curry leaves, and I'm going to add a selection of that. But you could add, you could maybe, actually I've got some cloves I could add, I've got some cumin seeds, I've got some fennel seeds, coriander. Oh, there's so much that you could add. Paprika, mustard seeds. You know, you could have a whole fun of just trying different seasonings that you really enjoy. Okay, this is starting to sizzle a bit. So let me show you. So just like give this a stir. So when you're actually adding spices, you want to let this cook down a little bit, and then you're going to add the spices, and that's what's going to they're going to open up when you first use them. So ideally, when you use spices, you want to add them at the frying stage. Let the spices all integrate and release their aroma. When you taste it, because I really hope you taste everything you cook before you eat it, if it needs a bit more flavour, then add a bit more spice, then it's absolutely fine. But it's really great if you can add it at the beginning. But we all need to adjust our seasoning, and that's just the way it goes. So I'm just looking at aubergines and sure that I've cooked. So here, I've got my glasses all skinned up. Here we have our roasted aubergine, okay? So you can see that. It looks absolutely yummy. It's really tiddy, and that's absolutely fine, and that might well disappear. Aubergine, again, often disappears when you're cooking with it, and it just gives you the flavour, and sometimes you wouldn't even know you had it. So that's going to be added to our curry. So just put that to one side. Okay. So also, what we're going to add to this, we're going to add a little bit of ginger, we're going to add a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of chilies. And I'm cheating because I'm going to use them all out of the tube, and that's absolutely fine. I learned a long time ago that I can't touch fresh chilies, they just don't agree with me at all. I think quite a few people have that reaction. So using a tube is fine. You can buy them in a tube, you can buy them in a jar, either way, they're absolutely fine. So we just add a tiny bit of that. Okay, a tiny bit more. Okay, right. And then a tad of garlic. Garlic is fantastic and goes with absolutely everything. Let's add some of that too. A little bit more. Okay, and then ginger. Okay, ginger is great. Some people really don't like ginger, so if you don't like ginger, it's absolutely fine. If you do, it's great, but remember, ginger gives you your heat. Okay, that's what gives you your heat to the curry. So sometimes if you don't like it too much, don't add too much. Okay, just enough to give it a flavour, and again, you can always adjust it. Okay, so again, look, so just frying it off. Okay. And then to that then, I'm going to add a bit of ground coriander. Smells absolutely yummy. Okay, so let's throw that in. And then we're going to throw a bit of cumin in as well. Yummy too. Okay. Okay, and to that we're going to add as well, I think we're going to add some fennel. I do love fennel seeds. And I might actually add some whole cloves. Just see what happens to that as well. Okay, right. And a bit of, let's add a tiny bit of curry powder for good measure. Okay. I wish I could invite you around for dinner because you'll come around and taste it. I'll tell you what it tastes like. Okay, so let's give that a big stir. Okay, want to see that? That's just all cooking up nicely, all those spices, releasing all their flavours, the oils coming out the spices. Okay. So we can just turn that down for a minute. And then to that we could probably add our aubergines. Let me just get this hot, let's just add that. Okay. Add that too. Okay. I think that looks really nice on its own actually. I think if you wanted to, you could just have that as an accompaniment. You know, it's so much you can do with vegetables, it's just incredible, just eating them. So that's everything starting to really cook down. Right, so let me just push that to one side for a minute, and I'm just going to show you my tofu. So tofu, it's really strange actually. We hadn't really started cooking with tofu before lockdown. And now we cook with it loads, and it's actually fine, but the top trick, two tricks really. One is you need to marinate it, and you need to drain it. So when it comes in its pot, it's full of water. So ideally you want to put it to, the way I do it is I put it between two baking sheets, put a kitchen paper on the baking sheet, and then put loads of tins on top. And I'll repeat that twice, and the kitchen paper is always absolutely sodden. So once you get all the water, all the fluid out of your tofu, you can then marinate it. So I didn't have very long today, so I've actually not marinated it for very long at all. But if you marinate it for longer, it's really going to take up the flavours. but it's not going to take up the flavour, it's full of water, which is why you need to drain it. Okay, you really need to get all the fluid out to make it as dry as possible, because it can take up all the flavours that you want to, because tofu is just completely bland. So in here, I just put a bit of chili powder, I think a bit of ginger, I did a bit of soy sauce, and I had a tiny bit of oil that was garlic infused, and I just added that. So that's just my bit of marinade, okay? So the other top tip when you're frying tofu is really to coat it, to make it crispy. So in here I've got a bit of corn flour. I hate cooking with corn flour, but it really works. But I've run out, so I've added a little bit of normal flour as well. So when we cooked our banana curry, I don't know if people watched that and remembered, I made some jerk seasoning. So I thought actually I'm going to add some here because I think again it'll give my tofu a bit of flavour. So I just add a tiny bit and then put that as well. So I'm going to then use that to coat the tofu. Keep half an eye on my veggies. Okay. Oh, I forgot that jerk seasoning is full of pepper. It's going to make me sneeze. Okay, so I'm going to put my tofu in my flour. Okay. And literally, I use my fingers actually might be better. I'm literally coating my tofu in my flour, okay? Excuse me, okay. Right, here we go. So this is tofu coated in flour. So I think what I'll do, I'm now going to just wash my hands. Just move this out of the way. Okay, so I think what I need to do is take a plate. Okay, so I just take my veggies because they're fine at the moment. They're all, I'll show you, they're all cooked, they're beautiful. So just put them to one side, and I'm going to add a bit of oil. Okay, to my pan. Okay, so this is my vegetables cooked. So this is absolutely, looks great. So again, you could have that if you wanted to. You could just have that as an accompaniment to a meal. We're obviously going to make ours into a curry, but you could always add if you wanted to. If you didn't fancy the idea of tofu, to add something, then add something else to it. You could add some tomatoes to it. We've actually got some spinach we can add to ours as well. You could add some pasta to that. You could be really inventive, different ways that you want to cook with things. Okay, so if we then add our tofu, I'm just going to need to move it so you can see it. So we're just going to add our tofu. Okay, so at the moment all we want it to do is we just want it to crisp up, okay? That's all we're asking it to do. And tofu is, again, sometimes it's quite easy because I think a lot of people worry about cooking like fish and chicken because they worry when it's cooked. Tofu, you don't have to worry, it's not going to make you ill if it's not cooked properly. Okay, so we just look at our tofu and we're just literally wanting it to brown up. Okay, so we'll just leave that a minute. It's starting to go already, really. We'll just leave that for a minute. Okay, so I also found today, I found some spinach that was reduced. So actually, I think that would be great. Normally, I'd use frozen spinach. Frozen spinach is fantastic, and when you use fresh spinach, it disappears down. I thought actually, I saw it out shopping. I thought actually, why not just give that a go as well, especially if it's reduced. So I'm going to throw some of that in. And I also had some coconut milk that was left over from cooking earlier in the week. So again, I need to use it up. What better to do it than throw it in my curry? So again, take the time to go through your fridge and see what you've got, because it'd be amazing what you might have, and save stuff. Never throw stuff out when you cook it, because you might just use half a courgette, or you might use half a tin of coconut milk, and put it in the fridge and make a thing that you're going to go through the fridge every couple of days. At least once a week, see what's in there, clean it out, and go, oh yes, I remember I've got that, and then use it, because it's such a good way to use up food waste, and it saves you so much money. Okay, so look, it's going really nice and brown, and you can see that, look, the tofu's really crisping up, it looks really good. Okay. And the other thing is, when you cook with tofu, is to try and give it a really nice sauce, because the more flavoursome the sauce is, the better the tofu is going to taste as well. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. I think, like I said, it doesn't have to cook for long. You're literally wanting to coat it and crisp it up a little bit. So I think that will be, oops, dropped a bit. I think that will be absolutely fine. Okay, so even some bits aren't quite done, but I think that'll be fine. So I just turn that bit over. It wants to go. and that bit. Okay, so I'm going to add back my vegetables, my veggies. I'm going to add back to my tofu, and we're going to give that a really big stir. Okay, right, I think it looks, can you see that? I think it looks really yummy as it is. So if you wanted some colour to that, then you could always add some tomatoes, some butternut squash maybe. Actually, that's an idea. I've got some in the freezer you could add. I don't think I will. I don't think it needs it, but I think you could. I'm actually, and like I said, it's going to be a bit of a green curry. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to add just a bit of my lentils. So literally, I'm just going to break them up and add those. Okay, add a few of those, and to that, I'm going to add my coconut milk that I've got left. So I'm just going to pour that in as well. Okay. This is the way. And then to that, I just want one more thing. I just want to add some stock. Okay, so I'm just going to get some water. I can use my can of coconut milk. So I just fill that with water. Okay. So, depending on what stock cube you want to use, I'm going to use a chicken stock cube just because I think it gives flavour. But if you're vegetarian, you're vegan, then use a veggie stock cube or use a vegan stock cube, use a bouillon, that all works perfectly as well. And then, so I'm just going to add my stock cube. Just be careful, you don't want any more salt. If you add a stock cube, just watch the salt, okay, because stock cubes are full of salt. Okay, so I'm just going to add the rest of my water, and I'm just going to simmer that down. Okay, so if you've got too much water, then don't worry, you can just boil it down. The spinach will give off a bit of water, but they'll give, you know, don't worry, just keep half an eye on it. You know, if you've got water, or just take all those, you know, all that fluid will take off the flavours, and if you boil it down, it will go absolutely yummy. So there you go, a really quick and easy tofu, aubergine, and spinach curry that's made really out of leftovers, what I had in the fridge. So that's actually cost me nothing really, apart from the spinach, which is a pound, that's got some left I can use for a salad or something else that I'm going to eat. I'm going to have fish and chips tonight. I'm going to make them from scratch at home, so I can use that to make something. Yeah, so there you go. So really hope you enjoyed it, and really hope to see you again next week. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.